नाम बदनाम करे सोनिए जब जो भी करे शरेआम करे सोनिए फिर मेरे बेड पे आराम करे सोनिए पैसा दिखे.
Alright guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. This is the first of 2026 and today I'm just going to be going over some couple of tips of how to trade gold really. I know in the previous video I go over trades that I took, like how I made this amount, whatever. In this trade I did make over $48,000, close to 50k. But I don't want that to be the focus of this video. The focus of this video is going to be just giving you guys like small tips on how to become a trader and how to look at the charts. So this video is mainly going to be focused on reading charts and seeing, like, just identifying the trend. Just like a little glimpse of what you have to do to become a good trader, in my opinion. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys, like, when you look at a chart, like, what are you mainly looking at? I know some people just see, like, candlesticks up and down, like, do I buy, do I sell, whatever. So this is going to give you, like, a little, I guess I could say, getting your feet wet and like in the water a little bit just to see how it is, to see if trading is for you or not. And I'll be going over the trade that I took where I profited around $48,000. And in this trade, I basically traded the news. Like, where, in my opinion, how I trade, I think fundamentals are really important when trading. So I like to go off fundamentals. And as you guys know, with the Venezuela, how Trump went in and took the president, there's like, it really does affect the markets. And if you're a trader, you can capitalize off of that. So I think it's really good to be a trader because when nowadays politics is everything, and if you want to make money and make the most of it, you got to trade the news. And if you don't know how to read fundamentals and understand fundamentals, this video could be for you because I'm going to explain how fundamentals affect gold in this case. And there's a bunch of other pairs too that you can trade, like the Dow Jones, the SPX, the NASDAQ, but the fundamentals don't really affect that as much. Whereas if you're trading gold is a safe haven currency, so when there's fear all around the world, people want to dump their money into gold. They want to buy gold. That's why gold usually gets affected if there's a war, if Trump is striking someone, or there's any type of geopolitical tension, gold will go up. And another case for gold is if you're trading gold and there's like interest rate decisions, FOMC, Powell talking, that'll affect gold. So overall, anything politics related or like anything that's affecting the economy, it'll affect gold. So if you're a trader, there's always opportunities to trade gold and make a lot of money or lose money. It just depends how you are as a trader. So yeah, let's get into the video. I'm going to be breaking down the charts on how to trade gold and how to look at the small stuff. Just a couple of tips and tricks on how to trade gold pretty much. Alright, so this is the gold trade right here that I took pretty much. I'm recording this video a little bit later than I took this trade because I was busy with the other stuff that I was doing. But yeah, so this was a trade. We were having a big sell-off right here. Not a big sell-off, but we did drop like 200 pips, essentially, even a little bit around there. And we started to come back up, and basically I mentioned that I like trading fundamentals. So this was a trade. I'm going to pull up my trade that I closed. Did make $47,900. I was up like around 50,000, but I decided to still hold my trade because I was like, okay, it can still go up, but I didn't get that pump up, so I came down a little bit. I closed, but if I did hold for like a couple days more, I'd probably be up like another 25-30,000. But I was happy with my profit, so I decided to close because with the stuff going on in politics, you never know what can happen, and I didn't want to miss out on my position. So I did close this trade in 48k profit. So what led to this trade is what I'm going to go over right now. I know a lot of people DM me and say, can you teach us what the fundamentals and all that? So I'm going to go over it right now. So I'm going to just break this down. People, now there's AI. You can use AI to understand fundamentals and stuff. I do have a bot that I pay for to get my information. So I'm a little bit early on so I don't miss out on trades. I will not be providing that in this video because I pay for that. But I'm just going to tell you guys how. So pretty much, if you don't know, if you live under a rock, Trump went into Venezuela and captured Maduro. This affects the markets because there's a lot of stuff that go into it. Basically, this was on a Saturday. So it was like Saturday night. For us, it's like Sunday morning, I say. But this was like the little timeline right here. He went in, captured him, Maduro. And then a lot of people were saying gold will drop because this is not too crazy. I was on reading Bloomberg articles and stuff. People were saying gold will drop because this doesn't affect gold, but they're all wrong. That's why they didn't make money trading gold. That's why I did. But not to sound cocky or anything, but when trading gold, you want to be careful with trading it because some fundamentals do affect gold, some don't. But basically, this just telling us that Trump went into Venezuela, captured Maduro, and he said that we will be running Venezuela for now. And this was the article that I like using is investinglive.com. Investing.com or Investing Live, they're two different ones, but Investing Live is good too. But here it just says Maduro captured in Venezuela, Trump claims US will control country. So why am I even sharing this? Because in trading, there's two things, fundamentals and technicals. Technicals is reading the charts and fundamentals is understanding what the economy is doing, which is I feel like every trader needs. A lot of people don't focus on it, is why they lose out or don't make money. They think technicals is all that matters. Me personally, I like trading fundamentals. So yeah, this basically just breaks down how Trump went in, and now they're talking about oil. But when the news first came out, people didn't really think about the oil because that wasn't even mentioned. The main thing was he went and captured Maduro because the whole thing was about drugs, how he's importing drugs and he's not doing anything about it. But then after a couple of days, Trump talks about how they're going to buy oil. They're going to take their oil. So this is how it affects gold. Really got affected on Sunday when the market opened. Basically, the market open was like around here somewhere. Gold started pushing up. That affected gold because when Trump captured Maduro, that leads to geopolitical tensions. They rise because they're like, okay, what's gonna happen now? Because China is Venezuela's ally, and you don't ever know what's gonna happen. So people they get scared, so they dump their money into a safe haven asset, which is gold. So whenever there's fear, people dump their money into gold. When there's fear, gold pushes up because markets don't know what's gonna happen, and the safe route is gold. So gold went up. So me as a trader, I saw that captured Maduro. My bias was initially buys right off of Sunday because on Sunday, before the news happened, gold started to trend down. If you can see the charts, we had this big drop down. We formed a lower low, then we formed a lower high, a lower low, a lower high. And then from here, we started changing trends, essentially. But still, we still started dropping down on Friday. And this is when Maduro got captured on Sunday. We started to see a big bullish rally up. So how do you even catch this is what I'm going to go over. And some tips and tricks. I'm not just going to focus on the trade that I took, but I'm going to show you guys some tips and tricks that you guys may need as a beginner trader if you're just stepping into trading. Because I know a lot of people are telling me to help them with trading. So this is going to be for you guys to just understand the charts pretty much. So when you're looking at trades, there's two things. There's called higher lows and higher highs, pretty much, and lower lows and lower highs. So when trading, you could call this a higher low, and this is a higher high. Why is it a higher low? Because we're trending up, we're going bullish. I call this a higher low, higher high because it took out the previous high. So boom, and then this is a higher low, not a lower low, because this hasn't taken out this low. So we're still bullish right here. And then boom, we form a higher high, higher low, higher high, and the trend continues, meaning we're bullish. When we're bearish, we're making lower highs and lower lows. So I'd say this is we can start from here. I'd say we formed a lower high right here, lower low, lower high, and a lower low. Why is this a lower low? We took out the previous low. And why is it not a higher low? It's a lower low because our trend is down. We formed a lower high right here, and we're still trending down, a lower low. So this shows that we're bearish from Wednesday and on. And our main focus is on the markets here on Sunday. When the market opened, we had the fundamental bias that we're bullish. So that's our one confluence. Our second one should be, okay, so I wouldn't really count this right here as a higher high because it really didn't break it, but it was pushing there. So, but realistically, you can see that we're starting to form a higher low here. So this is when the pattern all changed, where I have this red line. We formed a lower low here, a lower high here, but we didn't form a lower low here. So a lower low was not formed here. Sorry for my drawing, is that a lower low would have formed if this candlestick came right here, or even down here for a better structure. If a lower low formed here, then the trend would still be bearish, but that did not happen. it didn't happen. So what we did was just form a normal low. I'd call this a higher low because it's a low, so it's changing directions. So when you're trading, you want to follow the simple steps of higher lows, lower lows, higher highs, etc. to identify the trend. So our first confluence is the fundamentals. Second one is that the pattern is changing here. We have a higher low here. I don't really call it a higher high, but you should consider it. It's like a couple pips of breaking the previous low, lower high. So that I really want to count, but for me, this is like a little method of saying, okay, we're pushing up, and this is the hour time frame, so it's a little bit stronger than using the smaller time frames, essentially. And then from here on, we started pushing up on Sunday, or started rallying up. And for me, I needed another confirmation, like I'm not just gonna buy off of one engulfing candlestick. So sometimes what I like to do is use trend lines. So I had one of these trend lines here. It's like a counter trend line where price comes through here, touches here. So it's pretty accurate. We had the more first touch here and then we had this touch. So I was just waiting for a little confirmation. As you can see, we break this counter trend line. And on a smaller time frame, you could even go in depth more and look at it in a better. I don't really like using smaller time frames, but just for the video so you guys could see what it looks like. You can see we just started pushing and we broke through the counter trend line, meaning we're breaking the bearish trend that we're pushing up. So that's like my third confluence right there. I'll go back to the hour time frame. Another thing that I like to do is use key levels. Pretty much. I had a key level set right here before I deleted everything on here. Key levels are what I like to call key levels is these are like levels where price touches the most, where price is rejecting or like using it as support. That's where you want to place your key levels at usually. It doesn't have to be exactly where my entry's at, like you have to see where it makes sense. You can always put multiple key levels if you want. But for me, I only had one key level where I wanted to take my entry. I was like right here. It was like a little bit. So for me, it was this one because we had the previous. You guys can ignore all of this. Let me just delete it. So as you can see, this key level that I have here, you can see it's really strong because if we go back in time, rejected here, came here, rejected here twice. These were like highs back then. So this key level makes sense even if we go on like a bigger time frame. I'm on the daily time frame. So when you're placing key levels, you always want to look at all different time frames so you guys can see this key level is a very strong area. So if price is gonna come to this key level, expect something big. So when we came to this key level, we had that 1 hour close right below it. But on the next one, when I saw volume push through and we broke through this trend line, I was like, okay, this is perfect. So that sets me up as my like fourth confluence right there. So I was like, okay, this trade makes sense. So we have the fundamentals, we have the higher lows, higher highs forming basically. And another thing on the higher high, even if you don't want to consider this as a higher high, because it was only a couple pips, we came here, we didn't form a low. Like we formed a higher low, it wasn't a lower low. So for me, we're still bullish here. So it makes sense to still take this trade, that we're still bullish. And once we had the fundamentals and stuff and everything lined up, like, okay, this is perfect for buys. So that was my thought process behind this trade. You always could put more stuff on with your charts to analyze this trade. But for me, that was it for this trade. That's why I took the buys here. And I did close like right around here because I didn't want to have more consolidation happen, the trade come back down. I could have made way more money. But I still caught around 600 pips on this trade, which is a lot. It's 48K on like 7.5 lots. For me, that was a comfortable risk. And another thing I want to talk about is stop loss usually. So when I entered this trade, I had no stop loss planned. I had it planned, but I didn't put a stop loss on my trade. I just let it open. When I entered this, I was gonna target the previous wicks right here on this area. So it's like 43.68, like 43.67. Like this is the area I was targeting around here for stop. And then my take profit, I thought gold will feel like this little correction of it, like it will take over, like not like consolidation wise, like it will push up higher, but eventually it took its time. For me, this trade, I really didn't want to push it too long because it was just a fundamental based trade. Usually short term, anything can happen. And I took the trade quick. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna hold it for a couple of days and see what happens. And I closed at 48K. And then for now's markets, like we're still trending bullish right now. I would still look for buys, but with the NFP data coming in and interest rates, I feel like we're not gonna cut interest rates. There's gonna be no change. I feel like gold might just drop a little bit, just a little correction, and then back up we go because of all the geopolitical tensions. So yeah, I feel like as a trader, what you guys want to really focus on with trading is focus on like the basics of trading. If you want to start trading, is look up lower lows, lower highs and stuff, support and resistance, key levels, and then that's how you want to get into trading. Once you have that stuff down technical wise, you could really advance as a trader. So if you really want to get started in trading, I feel like that's where you guys should start off at. I'm going to go over little tips real quick on higher highs and higher lows, because that's what this video is going to be about. Alright, so here we have like basically the higher high and higher lows. My bad for the pick quality, but basically when you're looking at trades, this is what when you're in an uptrend, this is a higher high, this is a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Basically you're just identifying a trend. If you can't identify the trend in trading, you're not going to be able to even trade. Like you're going to be I know some of the most best traders that think they're profitable, they can't identify the basics. You won't be a good trader. This is what you need to really identify the markets. Once you can see that it's going higher highs, higher lows, you can identify the trend. If it's bullish or bearish, that's when you can take a trade. That's when you know if you're looking for buys or sells. If you're entering the markets without looking at this, higher highs, higher lows, lower highs, you're gambling at that point. You don't want to really gamble with trading. You want to have a calculated risk management and a calculated game plan. So for downtrends, it's lower highs, lower lows. So basically, think these are candlesticks. We're going up. Once we go up, there's a higher high. Once we go down, there's a lower. So that's like a basic tip I want to give everyone, that when you're trading, you want to focus on this, focus on that, and see what is it doing. If it's doing both of these, that means your trade is consolidating and you want to stay out of consolidation. What we call is chop, or the range, because you're going to get wicked out, taken out, because the market goes up, down, up, down, up, down. It's not really doing anything. You're going to keep taking losses. But if it's trending like this, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, then you'll be profitable, because it goes up, goes down, goes up, goes down. That's how you make money. You can enter here, you can enter here, you can enter here. It really depends what the market's doing. If you want to enter here and the market's starting to go down, then you can enter at the top ones like this. You just have to identify what the market is doing, the trend wise. Then you can start taking your trades. Hopefully that makes sense if you're a beginner, because without all of this, you won't be able to trade. If you're just buying and selling, just looking at the charts, like if you're just buying and selling, it's not really going to help you. If you identify the basic trends, then you have a better chance of winning your trades. So yeah, that's it for the video. Let me know what you guys think about the video and what you guys want me to film more on. I'm trying to just do a video a week, so one video every week is the goal right now to upload. Just like giving you guys basic tips and stuff. If you guys want to learn more, just message me on my Telegram or my Instagram. The links will be down below. The broker I use is Athens Markets. There's a broker link in the description as well. If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to leave them down below. Subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to hit like at least 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And other than that, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate you guys for all showing the love. Thank you.